welcome to the People's History Museum and for the session of Social Care Future. My name is Vic Rayner and I work for an organisation called the National Care Forum, and we're running this session this afternoon in partnership with Housing Lynn, which is another organisation particularly focused on the housing of older people. What we're going to do this afternoon is we're going to hopefully have a bit of fun, have an interactive session and give ourselves some insight into what the future of older people's care, housing and support services could look like, and how those services will need to change and adapt over the coming years to better meet the needs of the communities, of older people's communities, as we move forward. A really exciting topic, something that is great to have on this agenda and great that we've got an opportunity to talk about today. But what we want to do is something slightly different, in that what we want to do is hear about some of the ideas for the future, but also have that judged, for want of a better word, by a Dragon's Den panel of older people who have very kindly come forward in order to take part in this. They weren't coerced at all. They were delighted to be involved. No, none of us do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce the panel, the panel to start off with, and then I'm going to introduce one by one the 5 different projects that we're going to hear from this afternoon. And the idea is we'll hear a sort of very quick 5-minute pitch in the model of Dragon's Den, and then the panel will have an opportunity to ask some immediate questions, things that they want to find out more about, things that they're not sure about, things that they really like, so we'll get some feedback from them. And then we'll have an opportunity at the end for everybody to have a really good discussion about what they've heard and what they see as the future of older people's housing, care and support. So, without further ado, let me introduce the panel to you. So we have Colin here on the panel, Sean, James and Nori, and they're being supported today by Sharon Allen from Skills for Care. So what we're going to do, that's our panel. We've got, as I say, 5 organisations who are going to talk about some of the work that they currently do and how they see their work fitting into meeting the needs of future communities. I'm going to start off with Sarah McKee, who is here from Edinburgh. So Sarah, we have a microphone for you, if that's okay. You can sit there or you can come up here. If you'd like to come up here, that's great. And just to let people know, the session is being live streamed this afternoon, so other people who are not here will have the opportunity to benefit from your wisdom and experience and thoughts as well.
Wisdom and experience, no pressure then. Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. I am in that kind of marketing bracket of the young old, so I'm over 50. I haven't had myself a magazine yet, but I'm expecting it any day. But I think what's really interesting, having worked in this arena for quite a long time now, is our perception of old age being all about doom and gloom. And actually, here we are in a museum that wasn't here a few years ago. I went to school in Manchester, I was here when the bomb went off, and ever since then it's just been growing, expanding and developing, and I feel that's what we all should be doing. And I don't see myself as somebody who will stop growing and learning as I get older and older, and actually that'll probably keep me reasonably sane. And the reason behind Evermore is really that motivation to keep learning and growing, and most importantly, being in control of what I do. My father and mother are still alive. He is 84, she is 81, and they still think older people are the people who are older than them. They're incredibly active. I have bullied them into downsizing, and they're now in a ground floor apartment, which they love. They are healthier than they've ever been because they walk everywhere. They never used to go to London to do anything, but they do because they can catch the train, and it's dead simple. So their horizons have expanded since they've thought about planning for their older age. And they're not thinking, well, I've only got 2 years left. They're thinking about how much will I be able to do when I'm 95, not if I get there. Which I think is really positive. And the thing that underpins everything that we're trying to do is, as I often say to my parents, it's too late for us to change social care for you, love. I'll make sure you're sorted, but we won't get it done by then. So I'm no longer interested in things like we talk about the mum test when we go and look at things. It's the me test. And the me test is all about companionship, being connected, being active, giving back. And it's this little thing that we call very easily life in full colour. A lot of the services we offer are not what I would call consumer-driven. I've always worked in consumer-driven environments. Low-fare airlines, retail, consumer electronics, housing, things that people have to pay for. But for some reason, we don't really think about it from a consumer perspective. Now, I want to make sure, because I'm one of the consumers of the future, that I've got all the choice I want. And because I think about it, and because my husband died 7.5 years ago, suddenly, I was left with that. All I actually do is work, so what am I going to do instead? So Evermore is not really a thing, it's more of a passion that I work on full-time with a couple of like-minded souls to change the conversation around ageing, to try and get people to think about different ways of living, to live it full colour every day. So we're actually working, having tried to build our own communities, and nobody wants to live together apparently. So the youngsters who have the investment pots don't really want to invest in what we want. So what we're doing now is we're working with Greater Manchester Council. So we're creating ways of living together with Stockport, with Trafford and with Manchester, so that as they have their new strategies to build new housing for all ages, we're into living together with other people of all ages. Because that's how we've always lived. I want neighbours, I want people to talk to, I want people to bump into, I want people to eat with, preferably if they're doing the cooking because I'm rubbish at it. So Evermore is all about conviviality in its broadest sense. And that's the message we want to get across, that aging is actually not a bad thing, and we're all going to do it, and we're not going to get out of here alive. So let's design it so it's how we want, and there will be, as you'll hear today, a variety of ways that everybody wants to live, whether it's in your own home that you live in already, or you want to join in with other people like me. I have moved to North Wales this year, because I like it, and it's still commutable. I live in a community that used to be, in one of its lives, a nursing home. It's now converted into small houses and flats. We don't have any communal spaces, we all have our own front door, but we share a very big garden and we're halfway up Conway Mountain. So I'm surrounded by sheep and wild ponies, which is rather nice. The thing that works brilliantly is our outdoor spaces at the front. So when I want to sit out in the sun, my neighbours are doing it too. And naturally, we talk to each other. Naturally, we knock on doors and ask if anybody wants anything. Naturally, we help each other. Now that is the ethos around Evermore. I haven't built it, I found it for myself. I haven't quite cracked the bit about people cooking for me yet, but I'm working on it. But I know that when I go home tonight, there are other people there, behind their front doors with the lights on, and if I do need any help, they'll be there for me. That's what I want to get back into our society. That's what I want to do as I age. And I want to have that community spirit that is in lots of places, but where I used to live, which was very commuter land, I didn't know my neighbours, to be honest. 15 years, and nobody said goodbye when I left. So now, people say goodbye when I leave in the morning. That's what I want to get out of my future ageing. I want to create that community now so that when I do need more help and support, I'm surrounded by people who know me and who are not going to say, you have to have your lunch at 12 o'clock, and who are not going to prescribe how I live my life. So, have I done my fine?
Thank you, Sarah. Yes, thank you, Sarah. You have. Just stay for a second because I'm now going to invite the panel if they've got any immediate questions or thoughts. Can I ask you to speak into the mic? Is it on, Sean?
Okay. Yes, my husband and I'm Noreen Hazelden, by the way. My husband and I have already bought our retirement home, having lived in the home that we're in now for 48 years. And we don't know our neighbours either. We did when we first moved in, but we don't know. It's holiday cottages. We live in the Lake District. But yeah, I admire what you're doing.
Yeah, I do as well.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Colin. What I'm interested in is how we get the message out to our aging population to have a vision about themselves in the future. And it's that transformative element as well as the broader population that I think we need to be able to tackle, because people are working around with those messages that they've had from childhood about what does it mean to age. So how do we tackle that?
Well, it's up to all of us to tackle that. I think ageism is the last ism that's socially acceptable. We wouldn't allow any other form of discrimination to go unchecked as we do about older people. I think the way to do it is to lobby your local councillors about the language that they use. I don't really mind what you call me, but I don't want you to exclude me from anything because of my age. I want you to give me the right help and support based on my need. And actually somebody much younger than me might have much greater needs than I do when I was like 75. The thing I love to promote, I do quite a lot of Twitter stuff. I'm an art historian by visual training, so I just want to get back to doing that most of the time. But I follow a lot of artists who are aging like rock stars, and we don't talk negatively about rock stars still going at it in their 60s, 70s and 80s. Neither do we about artists. So today, David Hockney will be selling a painting that will probably take him to be one of the most expensive living artists, because they're talking about it reaching $100 million in a sale. And now he's well into his 70s. Bridget Riley is doing a new retrospective exhibition in New York at 87. So I'm not about age, I'm about we want to live life in full colour, like we always have done. So if we continue to have the conversations, so that you don't look at me and think, how old is she? And I don't look at you that way. I look at you in terms of having conversations, that you're a whole person. But we all have to do it. It's going to take us a generation to change it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sarah. That's great to sort of pick up on. Okay, I'll immediately move on to Pam Flynn, who's going to talk to us about the Manchester Union Co-Housing Project.
Okay, can everybody hear? Yep, good. Manchester Urban Co-Housing.
Sorry, I've got the wrong glasses.
No problem, no problem. Okay, well, I think what I've got to talk to you about co-housing builds very nicely on from Sarah's point about changing the conversation. Why the work that Manchester Urban Co-Housing is doing is important. What's its purpose? Why is it needed? Well, co-housing isn't your typical retirement community. For those of you who may not have come across the concept of co-housing, it's a type of collaborative living that combines the benefit of private dwellings with the advantages of shared resources, including a kitchen. Co-housing projects are traditionally set up and run by their members as intentional communities, and that is the residents are positively committed to living in a mutually supportive way. It's a tried and tested model. In the Netherlands, in Finland, in Denmark, in the United States, and in Barnet in London. And there are 2 other co-housing projects for older people in development here in the UK, one of them being in South Manchester. At Much, we're a group of older adults aged from 59 to 73, but we could be from 50 through to 90 plus, and we're working together to run our own lives in an active way as we age. We aim to exercise our own choice and power as older people, moving to act for ourselves and stay active for as long as possible. And what we're trying to do is design and develop our own sustainable housing complex with a shared communal space. Live there together, cook and eat together, sometimes watch out for each other and help each other. We want to avoid the standard care setting for elders. What are the implications of this? And how might we access and share informal care and support in the future? Well, to put that briefly, we stay active and the money stays local. As I mentioned earlier, we're an intentional community. The implications of our vision are of active citizenship, decision-making, and living together in a supportive way. And because co-housing is co-produced and managed by community members and not commercial providers, the financial benefits stay in the local economy. And by supporting co-housing, local councils would be able to retain older people who directly invested in the places in which they currently live. In our case, it's in South Manchester. Its services, its organisations and communities, both financially and socially. And of course, we'll continue to do that in the future. What's the impact of more people adopting this approach? How would things be different for older people if they did? Well, again, put simply, blocks would be removed and we live better. Whether it's to do with under-occupation of larger homes,